what is up everyone? Welcome back to the videos. My name is Matt and today is another What's Up Wednesday and it's a very wet day today. That's why I got my comfy hoodie on that's torn. I think I've had this, I don't even know how long I've had this for, but whenever I get Red Sox stuff from the East Coast, I try and keep it as long as possible. This used to be like bright red when I first got it. Now it's like a orange. It's really faded, but I love it. But anyways, we're doing another very unscientific review, and today it is of the Vanguard Alta Pro 2 Plus in carbon. Now, the very unscientific review of the Wandered Provoke 31 has had huge reception that I did not expect at all, because it was just supposed to be like a video thing that I made, and it's now over 200 views, which is crazy. I know in the grand scheme of YouTube, it's not like, definitely not the highest watched video at all, but it is really good, and I'm really happy with that. The Olympus one is still in the hundreds, but that Wandered one, man, 200 views. Thank you to all 200 of you, 200 plus of you who watched that. And if you're a subscriber and you watch that, good on you. Thank you very much for support. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, yeah. We're talking about a tripod today. So the reason I want to talk about this tripod, and let's get this out of the way before I get into it. Vanguard did not pay me, nobody paid me, nobody asked me to do this, nobody put words in my mouth or told me what to do with this tripod. Everything that I've done with this tripod is what I wanted to do with it. Everything that I'm saying is my words. Like, there's nothing behind this. Trust me, there's nothing behind this. It's just me, there's nothing else. That's it. But the reason I want to do a review on this tripod is because it is an interesting tripod in the world of tripods, because it offers a good amount of stuff for a fair amount of money. It's not too expensive, but it's not cheap, but it gives you good quality, but at some bit of a disadvantage in some areas. But let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the pros. Pros. It's got a 90-degree tilting neck, and that's sweet, because that is really, really helpful when it comes to making videos like this, because right now the mic's like here. You can't see it. It's on purpose. But I'm using the Vanguard in order to kind of use it like as a mic stand sort of thing, so that the tripod legs aren't I bumped it. So the tripod legs aren't in my way. I can kind of move my legs. Oh, Jesus, I just kicked the camera. This is all going so wrong. So I can kind of move my legs freely around and not have to worry about kicking anything like I just did. Because this is a pretty small space. It's not a huge amount of space that I use, but it works. It does the job. It works really well. The other reason that I really like the 90-degree tilting neck is because it helps when if you don't have a secondary video head. It actually works pretty well as another kind of video type head. If you're doing pans and things like that, it's actually fairly smooth. So that's another big plus. But let's really quickly talk about why I like the 90-degree head compared to other companies that also do a 90-degree head. One in case is Manfrotto. Manfrotto's had their 90-degree tilting neck, I think, for a pretty long time now, and they've actually updated it. There's a newer system within like the 190 Go's. The 290s use the older system, but they're fairly similar with one another in that, and it's one thing that I like about the Vanguard over the Manfrotto. So I demo a lot of tripods at work, and my least favorite one to demo at times is Manfrotto, because some people like to see that 90-degree tilting neck, and I show it to them, and then I try and get it back in, and it's a pain, and you're trying to get everything lined up, and it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It doesn't look good, and then people are kind of like, do I really want that? Is that gonna? I don't think I want that. Nope, I don't want that. Thanks, bye. And you're like, ugh. So this is why I like the Vanguard more. It's super easy to get in and out of the column area where it normally sits. It's just the press of a button, tilt it, just like the Manfrotto, but it's the going back into where it belongs to just making it like a regular neck that is way easier than the Manfrotto. I don't know why the Manfrotto is challenging for me. It's challenging for most, in my opinion, but it's a real pain to try and get done. So that's the one reason I really, really like the Vanguard 90-degree tilting neck thing, because it works really, really well. It works super, super well. And like I said, it's very nice if you need a secondary kind of video head style thing, and even like a fake jib sort of look, because it tilts up really tall and then goes back down to 90 degrees really flat. So you can kind of use it for that if you wanted to, and just kind of use your own weight as like a counterbalance sort of thing. But anyways, yeah, so I really like the 90-degree neck for that. It's very helpful. The second thing that I like about it is the build quality. The build quality is actually very, very nice. The carbon fiber version is really good. I don't think it's as good as the Manfrotto carbon fiber. I don't know anyone that has better carbon fiber within the tripod industry that's better than Manfrotto, because it's beautiful, it's light, and it looks so good. But I will say that this is actually a very well built tripod. It does have some flex in it, but it's not like a huge deal to me. I think the aluminum bits on this are actually a little bit better than the carbon fiber. I wish I was able to test out the carbon fiber version and not just or I wish I was able to test out the aluminum and not just the carbon fiber version. I have found that most carbon fiber tripods that aren't Manfrotto are nice, but they're not perfect. They usually have a little bit too much flex in them, kind of like this one does. The third thing I like about this tripod is the twist locks. So if you're not familiar with tripods or the terminology behind them, there's a couple different ways, well, mainly two ways that you can get the legs to be deployed. There's a flip lock, which is kind of just, like a flip lock, just flips, legs come out, flip it, kind of like these, where you just flip it like that, they flip out, and then you just slide, and then it flips closed. And then there's the other version. Which is like the Vanguard, Manfrotto, ProMaster, a lot of companies nowadays, twist lock system, and I'll show that separately. But the twist lock system has been kind of an issue, and some companies have nailed it down. I think Vanguard's got it down the best, because it's a quarter turn no matter what. The ProMasters, you can spin it until the leg falls out pretty much, like completely out of the tripod, which is nice if you want to do maintenance on it, but it's kind of a pain in any other circumstance, because you don't know when you have enough unlocked. But it's normally just a quarter turn on most of them. I don't know why people can't figure that out. It's a quarter turn, slide them down, slide it back up, quarter turn back to lock it. But the Vanguards have done a fantastic job of letting you know when it's locked and unlocked, and not letting you back it all the way out to the point where the leg falls out. There's a little picture on it that shows locked, and it's locked, and then there's another picture, it's a lock and it's unlocked, and that's how you know that it's locked and unlocked. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and it's very tactile, very useful. It just helps speed up the process of opening up those legs and just popping them open, sliding them down, locking them real quick. It just makes life a lot easier, and that's what I look for when it comes to my gear, is that it makes my life easier, doesn't get in the way of what I want to make, and all that sort of stuff. The other thing that I do like about this tripod is that all the degrees are labeled. So let's say you have a particular degree that you're looking for to set the neck at, those are all marked. Let's say you have a particular degree that you need the camera to be completely level, that's marked on the head. The legs, they're marked 20 to 80 degrees at 10-degree increments, and so it just makes it really easy to make sure that you're at the proper angles and everything that you need, and then you can kind of remember them to replicate the shot that you want to get. Let's say something moves off mark, or something slips, whatever it is, you can easily reset it if you have those numbers remembered or written down or something, and you can easily just put it back to the way it was rather than just guessing and getting as close as possible. And again, ease of use, very nice. A lot of people don't really understand why those are there. Some people do, but most are like, why are there numbers on this? And then when you explain it to them, they're like, oh, well, that's actually kind of nice, because they don't technically or usually think about the applications in which you could use those numbers to help you just make your life easier. The other thing that I like about this tripod is the feet on them, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but they are rubberized. They slip a little bit on soft or on like flatter surfaces like wood or concrete, but they do a good job pretty much anywhere else. They are a kind of a pitched, angled foot. They have, oh Jesus, get that out of there. They're a pitched, angled foot, and they actually have a pretty good amount of surface area to grip onto. It's got little ridges on the bottom, so it's not completely smooth on the bottom, which is great because it kind of grips into everything nicely. But what I like is that it has a nice long profile on the bottom for gripping onto a larger surface area. My ProMaster ones are kind of just like this knobby sort of thing. It works well, but the contact patch isn't that great for the stability, so it is a little bit better to have more of that contact patch to make sure that everything is nice and secure and placed very well. And the reason that they did that longer foot is because at the different angles the legs can go, it's at least able to get a large enough contact patch to where it's going to be the same at most angles, which is really nice. So I use this tripod to do this, to help get the mic a little bit closer to me, and I also used it to help film the video that I made on Sunday that I came out with on Monday. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It is my very first car feature video that I've done. I'm super excited about it, and I think it came out great. Go check that out. You know where it is. It's on the channel. It's going to be the video that came out before this one. It's got a picture of a car on it. It's called Grimy. It's great. It's fantastic. Seriously, I think it's, for a first time attempt, it's not bad. But anyways, I digress. I used this for a couple of the shots where I needed to pan. Like I said earlier, I needed to pan and I didn't have another video head. This worked awesome. I also used it for some lighting stuff, but mainly just for the panning, and it was really easy to use. It was nice and light just to pick up, kind of move around really easily, and it was stable enough for that. I initially thought the legs would be a bit too flexy and kind of slip on me or kind of twist and, give me a really weird jerky look, but no, it worked really well and gave me a really good finished product. So I was very happy with that. And everything that went along with that. So there's actually only a couple things that I don't really like about this tripod, which is good. And I don't think it's nitpicky. I think it is a little bit kind of legitimate that I don't like these things. But let's just get started with that. So number one is I don't care for how many locking things you have to keep in mind when you are using this. So the head itself has 4 things that you have to make sure are tightened down to make sure that you're all locked in. The rest of the tripod has 3 other locks that you have to make sure of, and then the legs have 6. So that's a lot just in the top portion itself. So that's 7 things you have to make sure of that are all locked down on the top of the head before you can even move on to making sure that the legs are tight, which you should probably do first. So you have to make sure all 6 locks are locked on the bottom legs, and then move up, and whatever adjustments you make, you have to make sure those are locked down on the top as well. For me, it didn't bug me in the sense that I didn't feel that everything was secure. It bugged me in the sense that if I forgot something, it made it a little bit sketchy. Luckily when this happened, I never had a camera on the tripod, but I was packing it away and I forgot to tighten down the lock that was in charge of the sliding up and down of the neck. And I picked it up by the bottom of the head just to move it to the side, to pack it away, like I said. And I picked it up and the legs just fell down from under it, hit the floor. Luckily, like I said, they're rubberized, so it just kind of bounced up. But it happened twice, and I was like, what if I had a camera on there? What if I forgot to lock something else down? Like, there's just a lot you have to worry about here. To put that in, perspective, my ProMaster head, or most of my ProMaster head only has 3 adjustments. That's it. Maybe 4 if you count like the tightening of the neck itself, but I don't. That's usually I usually consider that part of the legs. But yeah, the head itself only has 3 adjustments. 2 of them are for the pan and the ball. On this one, 3 of them are for the pan and the ball. So I don't know. It just seems like a lot. They do have their purposes and they are helpful to have, but I feel like it is a little bit too much to keep in charge of. With that being said, there are a lot of things that you do have to, that comes with the functionality that this tripod can do. So at the same time, I understand why it has so many, but on the other hand, I don't want to have to deal with it because it's just extra stuff that you just have to keep in mind, and I don't really want to do that. I just kind of want to throw it on there and be done with it. The other thing that I don't care for, and I think this is the only other thing that I don't care for besides how many adjustments there are that you have to keep in mind of, is the actual, and this is with the ball head itself, is the head, where the plate goes, is Arca Swiss. So if you're not familiar with Arca Swiss, it's a particular type of tripod plate. It's kind of like Manfrotto has their own tripod plate and everyone has their own tripod plate. Arca Swiss is kind of the one that's becoming a bit more popular, a bit more, I guess you could say, standardized for higher quality, more professional style tripods. So this is what the Arca Swiss plate looks like. That will go in focus. There we go. So that's what the plate looks like. You can see there's some hooks right here, and these hooks are in charge of just making sure that the tripod doesn't slip, or the camera doesn't slip off the tripod. So there's a little pin on the base of the head itself, and it sits right inside these rails. So if you don't have it tightened down quite yet and you pick it up or something, it's just going to slide and hit one of these hooks here, and instead of just falling straight out, it's just going to hit that hook and protect the camera and the tripod from falling off. And in order to get this out without having to catch on that hook, you have this little button on the side of the head itself. You just press that and then it slides the pin over, and then you can slide this out just like that, and the pin gets out of the way, and it makes it a lot easier. Let's get back in focus. There we go. And it just makes it a lot easier to get the tripod or the camera on and off the tripod. The ProMaster ones have that. Manfrotto has that on theirs. Most Arca Swiss heads have that. The Vanguard one, though, it does not. So you actually have to back out the little locking thing that locks in that plate all the way out, so you can kind of like go like this and tilt it out of the way so that it doesn't hit that pin, and you can get it so it's not hooked in anymore. It's a bit of a pain because you have to spend all that time unwinding that and then rewinding it back in, making sure it's nice and tight. My ProMaster one, it's like a quarter turn, press the button, slide it out, and you're done, and that's it. So it does take a little bit more time. Again, it's just something that takes more time for me being able to just get to the next shot. It got to the point where I was asking my assistant, I was like, hey, can you just take that off for me? I don't really want to do it. I got this other shot to get. He's like, yeah, sure, I got it. I'm like, cool, thank you. So that is kind of like one of the biggest pains of this in terms of getting the camera on and off the tripod. But other than that, I would say it's a really good, solid tripod. The cost, let's see what the, I should have checked this beforehand. But it is a really good, solid tripod. I think if you're looking for something that's really lightweight, very versatile, can get you those nice low angles, has a 90-degree tilting head because those are really, really nice to have. This is a very good one to go with in a compromised 2-man Frodo, because a set of legs themselves, 4-man Frodo, can go for $200 up, and then you have to get a head to go with it, and it's just a pain. With this one, I'm gonna check the cost on it right now actually. The cost for the aluminum version of this tripod is $209, and that comes with the head and everything, so that's not too bad of a price. Like I said, you know, the Manfrotto legs could run you around like $200 by themselves, and then you have to get another $200 head, and you're at $400. So this is half the price and gives you a really good build quality, really a lot of the same features and everything that the Manfrotto will offer you. I do think it is a really good tripod and a good kit overall to get. I couldn't find a pricing on the carbon fiber version. I found a pricing on the legs, and they were around the 200 mark by themselves. So, you know, it's expensive for the carbon fiber. My opinion when it comes to tripods is that I don't think carbon fiber is always necessary. I think that aluminum is just fine. I think it's light enough. I think it's strong enough. I think it handles everything really nicely. I think the whole carbon fiber sort of thing is a bit much. It saves you a good amount of weight if you have a big enough tripod, but when it comes to kind of the prosumer market with tripods like we have here with the ProMasters and the Vanguards and those sorts of things, going carbon fiber isn't always the most necessary thing. It might save you ounces, it's not gonna save you pounds. So at that point, I don't think it's a huge deal to get the carbon fiber version. I think aluminum is just fine, and at $210, that's not a bad deal at all. Sometimes they can run instant savings, and you can save like, you know, $20, $30 on the tripod, so that's always really nice too, to get it even under $200. So yeah, I think for the price, for the features, everything that it's offering, it's a really, really nice tripod, really good setup, and I would definitely endorse buying it. So that is my very unscientific review of the Vanguard Alta Pro 2 Plus 263 BC 100. Thanks, and I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment if you want to know anything more about this tripod, if you've used this tripod, if you disagree, agree, or whatever with me. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.